Hello and welcome back to Jenna Gets Creative. Today I am doing the Criminal Minds book tag as made by As Read by Brooke here on YouTube. I will link to her original video, but she doesn't actually post to YouTube anymore. It's been about a year. I will say, before we get into it, I got very frustrated answering this tag for the blog, and I kind of wish that I had pre-read all of the questions. Note to self for the future, but I had already spent a couple of hours making the blog post and I needed content for Sunday and I needed something to be able to film for Monday. So here we are. We are going to suffer through this. The problem with this tag is this is clearly somebody who really loves YA romance and chick lit and tailored all these questions to best suit books of those genres and only those genres. And this person also really loves Criminal Minds, but all the questions kind of end up being the same even though they're based on all the very different characters. So I'm actually tempted to rewrite this book tag, do a sequel to the Criminal Minds book tag, where I write more open-ended questions that are more true to the characters. We'll kind of discuss that as we go along, and feel free to suggest different questions in the comments down below. Let's build a new Criminal Minds one. This one's like 5 years old now. It's time. Also, before we get going, if you haven't heard yet, I have 2 giveaways coming up on this channel. The first one is the Let's Get Jenna monetized giveaway. When this channel has the watch hours for monetization, I have a choice of prize packs to give out. All prize packs will include a small original artwork by yours truly. Your options are the art supplies I've been setting aside for this giveaway, the repeat fantasy books I have on my shelf, or a book depository order placed on your behalf. The second giveaway is when this channel hits 2,000 subscribers, the Let's Get Jenna to 2K giveaway, and that will be your choice of an Amazon gift card or a book depository order. More details on both of those are in the description down below, and I do have a video coming out soon to spread the word, to get excited. Alright, let's jump into this. I do have the blog post linked down below if you would rather read my answers and get the questions to answer them. Disclaimer again, this was created in 2017, I believe, by As Read by Brooke on YouTube, and I copy and pasted the text of the tag from some other blog, somebody who answered the questions 2 years later. They got out of order from the original video, but I checked all of the questions are true to the original, they're just in the wrong order. We're gonna rewrite it anyway. That's a project for this channel. I want you guys involved. Question 1. Jason Gideon, your favorite fictional teacher or mentor? This one's fine with me, although I would like to point out, does this actor look familiar to you? What if he said this?
Hello. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
So my favorite fictional teacher or mentor would be Chade from all of Robin Hobb's books, particularly in the Farseer trilogy and the Fitz and the Fool trilogy. Chade is the royal assassin in this world, in this kingdom, and he's teaching Fitz. I love the layers to this character. At first you think he's just one of those hardened assassins and he's just doing what he has to do to teach his students, but you get to understand that he loves and cares about each and every one of his students, particularly Fitz. He's doing everything in a very fatherly way. You get to find out exactly how he's related to the court situation. You get to find out things like he has costumes and characters that he plays to go out in court and not be an assassin for a while, and sometimes still be an assassin for a while. He's just such a fascinating character. I really love his role in the extended series, so that's my answer. Aaron Hotchner, an iconic fictional leader you would trust and follow anywhere. I don't have a physical copy with me, so let's do with this picture. I am picking Aragorn from The Lord of the Rings. This guy, he's confident, he knows what he wants, he is secure in his emotions, he is not afraid to not show emotions. That's not unmanly for him. He's the kind of leader who He's gonna get it done, he's gonna do what needs to be done, but he's not going to trample all the people under him to do it. He's never going to overlook the needs of the people in his care. So that is a person I would follow to the end of the world. Derek Morgan, the most loyal fictional character you know. And my answer here is, dang, now I have to repeat a book. Samwise Gamgee, of course, from The Lord of the Rings. Number 4, JJ, your favorite badass female character. No surprise here, I am sure, but I am picking Bree from Legendborn. She is a teenage girl off to a early college program. Her mother just died within the last year. She's still dealing with the grief of that, and she finds herself on campus where there's magic and demons, and she ends up tied up in this very racist white boys club society, learning their magic because she thinks that maybe that's involved in her mother's death. But then this counselor she gets hooked up with on campus starts teaching her about her maternal line ancestral magic that her mother never told her about. So she's actually got 2 different types of magic that she didn't know about before. She's tangled up with all sorts of demons, all sorts of King Arthur reincarnation stuff with racist people, and her mother died within the last year, and she has inadvertently alienated her best friend, so she's kind of lost that too. And she is still kicking ass. David Rossi, a fictional father figure you'd kill to have. This is where I started having a problem with the questions. This is where I started to notice that there would be issues, and where I started to notice that this is probably aimed at YA readers. I do read YA, but I read YA fantasy. So this one's hard for me to answer because my father's a terrible person, and I had a lot of stepfather type role people in my life growing up, and when you have that, you either cling to every father figure you find or you distance yourself from them. So I'm the latter. I don't attach to those type of characters in books, so none immediately spring to mind except for, of course, one lovely red-headed man in the series that shall not be named from the author who shall not be named. So, I thought for a long time, and I'm gonna say Qui-Gon Jinn, specifically from the Jedi Apprentice middle grade series from the late 90s, early 2000s, written by Jude Watson. I have held up another one of these quite often. You'll see it in this video. These were my thing when these were first released, and yeah, I love that the cover art actually made Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan look like the actors. One of my favorite actors, one of my favorite characters ever. I was so mad after falling in love with this character in several of these books when the movie comes out and he's dead in the first episode. I was looking forward to him being in the trilogy, the prequel trilogy. Spencer Reed, a character who's equal parts intelligence and innocence. Alex, the automaton in This Golden Flame by Emily Victoria. I will link my full review of this one because I did a review video on this one. I love this one. It came out this year on my birthday, February 2nd, and I got this lovely arc from HarperCollins Canada. I'm on their influencer team. I love being on their influencer team. I love their stuff. This is a YA fantasy. This is in a world where there used to be automatons, and automatons at some point were a weapon, and they were shut down, and history does not favorably remember the guy who shut them down. And our main character accidentally finds and awakens the automaton that person made basically as his son. That's Alex. He's unlike any of the other automatons. He's aware, he's intelligent, he's educated, he's not just a mindless machine. So that's definitely what he is. Equal parts intelligent and innocent. Kind of a Pinocchio meets Data from Star Trek. Good book, good character. Diana Reed, the sweetest parent-child relationship. This is where I really start getting sassy with the prompts on the blog, because these questions are making me feel like maybe my reading choices are a little bit toxic, because I can't think of a good parent-child relationship in these books. That's not what I'm going for. I do read a lot of sci-fi and fantasy, and they tend to be adult characters. The parent relationship, it's in the past, it's not mentioned, or maybe it was toxic. So I'm just gonna pull a book off of my TBR that I want to feature. Me, My Dad, and the End of the Rainbow by Benjamin Dean. This is brand new this year. This is a middle grade novel, and this little guy here, his parents are getting a divorce. They're angry at each other, he doesn't really understand, and then he finds a pamphlet in his father's stuff, and it turns out his dad's gay. So they have this journey of exploring what that means, and the son getting to know his father in this new light and accepting it and going to Pride and having fun. It sounds awesome. I can't wait to read it. My friend Ocean sent this to me. I won their contest recently on Twitter, and they placed a book depository order for me. I will link Ocean's blog. They don't post often, but they always post books that are either LGBTQIA representation or disability representation. The blog is called Oceans of Novels. Check it out. Emily Prentice, a character who's been to hell and back, but who's stronger and better than ever. The Name of the Wind, Patrick Rothfuss. I pick Kvothe. Kvothe has been hunted by demons called the Changerins since he was a little boy. He's been homeless in the streets. He's been physically punished, physically abused. He's gone to the strangest university in the lands. He's been kicked out of the university. He's gone and spent time in other countries. He's danced with the sword tree. He's had sex with fairies. Not in this one, that's the sequel. That's book 2. And when we meet him at the beginning here, Chronicler finds him undercover as Coat, the humble innkeeper in this quiet little town who has no idea who this man who looks way older than he is. This man's leading this double life. He's being the innkeeper, taking care of the town. And they don't realize that when the sun goes down, he's fighting off any sort of demonic force that comes their way, keeping the town safe. And his apprentice is actually a royal court member from the Fae court, and he's just using the glamour to look human. Very, very deserving of that title, the being to hell and back and come back stronger force. That is definitely Kvothe. Penelope Garcia, a fictional character with the quirkiest sense of style. And this is where I had it with this question list, because really, that's what you think defines Penelope Garcia? How about the fact that she's a hacker, she is a genius, she is sassy, she can hold her own, and she has a sordid past. For Garcia, the way I see her, I pick Vin from the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. Tell me if you agree. Luke Alves, the new kid on the block, i.e. your favorite recent read. And in this part I went, who? I haven't had cable since I moved to Newfoundland in 2012, and this series went all the way up to 2020. So I think I just genuinely don't know this character, but if this character was in the series before then, he's very forgettable. My most recent new favorite is The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. This is an amazing, amazing book. It's technically just a woman's fiction, literary fiction. It has a lot of fantasy element to it. It has a lot of historical fiction to it. It's written from the point of view of 3 women. It's all centered around this apothecary who is helping other women get revenge on men by prescribing poisons and ways to distribute it. That's all back like 100 or so years ago. 2 of the points of views are the apothecary and the young girl who wants to be her apprentice. And then there's a point of view in modern times, a woman who just found out that her husband's cheating on her. She's gone off to England on what is supposed to be their anniversary trip, but she's gone alone. And she finds a clue to this mystery, who was this apothecary killer. She spends her vacation looking into it. It's a really fascinating book. I highly recommend it. Tara Lewis, your favorite psychological thriller. And I don't read psychological thrillers, so let's go with a gothic horror. The Hush Sisters by Gerard Collins. This is a This is published locally to me by Breakwater Books here in Newfoundland. The author is originally from Newfoundland. He doesn't live here at the moment, but it's okay, he's from here. This is a classic gothic horror story to do with a haunted house. Here in St. John's, Newfoundland, there are two sisters. They're of opposite minds on what to do with the family house now their parents have passed. There's a lot of horrible things in their past that get dug up. It is so well written. You really need to pick this one up. I loved it. I don't know what else to say about it. I'll link my review to this one down below for sure. I don't remember if I've actually done a full review on video yet. If I haven't, I need to. Tell me if you want to see it. Haley and Jack Hotchner, a parent who would sacrifice everything for their child. Critique point here. You're talking about a parent, but you've named the children. Alright, so I am going to hold up a Robin Hobb book again. This time I am holding up Fool's Assassin because I am particularly referring to the Fitz and the Fool trilogy, Older Fitz, because Older Fitz is a father. He has a daughter whose name is Bee. You may be wondering why I didn't name Fitz in the father figure question. He doesn't have a great relationship with Bee while he has Bee. He doesn't understand how to be a father, and she kind of avoids him. In this book, at the beginning of the trilogy, she's abducted, and his major motivating factor here, his motivation for the trilogy, is getting her back. And at some point he's going to believe that she's dead, and then his motivation becomes killing the people he believes are responsible. So he may not have been my pick for a good father figure. But he is definitely my pick for a parent who would sacrifice everything for his child. William Lemontang Jr., your favorite fictional married couple. And on the blog I wrote, "Screams into the void, I give up. Why didn't I read the questions before I put hours into trying to answer them? I don't read books about healthy adult relationships. Let's say Magic Max and his wife from The Princess Bride. The BAU, an iconic fictional team or group. Here's the Jedi Apprentice cover you all recognize, number 5, The Defenders of the Dead, but I am referring to the Jedi in general, because I'm a Star Wars nerd, deal with it. And last but not least, Baby Girl. Your favorite fictional male-female relationship. This is definitely referring to Derek Morgan calling Penelope Garcia Baby Girl all the time. They are so cute. They are made for each other. I am going to say Angela and Dave from All Bags Go to Heaven by C.S. Hale. This is my other very recent new favorite. This is a fantasy light romance, and it's adorable. We have a gremlin living as a human, working as a departures receptionist for an airline run by a family of gremlins. And she has magic that must be used. It demands to be used. When she uses it against its will, or when she lets it go haywire, it's going to cause minor mishaps. So she has to indulge that. She has to create minor mishaps. She's the departures receptionist for a airline. If she has a reason not to like you, if she has a reason to make your trip a little bit more difficult, your bag's going to Cleveland. If you're not going to Cleveland. If you are going to Cleveland, your bag's going anywhere but Cleveland. And she sends a bag to Cleveland on Dave, this first-class business traveler who's foolish enough to check a designer bag. She thinks that's reason enough to inconvenience him. And he likes that. He likes that chaos. He gets her cousin on the other end to route his bag to Cleveland intentionally, just to see if it'll show up where he wants it to go. And then he meets her later, says, "You know what? You owe me coffee for that." They go on a coffee date. The rest is history. It's not an easy relationship. It's very rocky along the way, but it's so cute. So those are the 15 original questions to the Criminal Minds book tag. I hope you see what I mean. This was definitely tailored towards YA romance and chick lit answers. I want to redo this one. I want to make a sequel to the Criminal Minds book tag where they're where the questions are more open-ended or pertain to adult books. So let me know in the comments down below if you have suggestions for alternate questions to go with the main cast of Criminal Minds. Thanks so much for watching. If you're looking for more to watch, I've got some suggestions up on the left side of the screen now. Don't forget to like, comment, maybe even subscribe, and if you like living life creatively, whatever that means to you, I'd love to have you along for the ride. Bye guys!